All right, folks, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and get started. Guys, listen, we appreciate you coming tonight. Just to where you'll know, and which doesn't mean anything, but we're live right now. Believe it or not, you're live on Ustream, and we got it pointing at you. If you pick your nose, Tom will get it. So I'm just telling you. But we're live on Ustream, guys. We appreciate you watching. We do a show every Thursday night live from Pensacola called Hunting the Rut Hotline. And you can call in literally every Thursday night, 52 weeks a year for 1 hour. We literally have people call in from all over the country. And if you want to be a viewer, you can log in and then it'll remind you that we're coming up, and then you can ask any kind of question you want, and literally they call in from all over the country. You can call in, Facebook in, Skype in, email, fax. Heck, for that matter, you can come in and sit down in the studio. So appreciate everybody coming. Guys, we appreciate you coming. I don't have to tell you the quality of dealer that you got here. This, guys, I literally, I do more seminars than anybody in the industry. We're literally all over this country. Tomorrow night, this time, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Saturday, I'll be in Minnesota, Missouri. Then Minnesota Monday, Michigan Tuesday, Louisiana, Texas. That's this week. I was in Canadian line last week in New York. So we're literally all over the country. So having said that, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about hunting the rut here in Alabama. Now I can talk about that because I'm born and reared in Atmore. How many of you know where Atmore is? Now I live in Wilcox County. You know where that is. So Camden. Well, I'm in Furman. I'm 18 miles from there. So, but what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about hunting the rut. And we're going to talk about, and I'm going to say two words to you. And I want you to listen to what I'm saying on the front end, because I'm going to tell you right off the get-go, you're going to think I've lost my mind. And we're going to systematically go all the way through hunting season. First of all, two words. We're sitting here tonight, and it's kind of amazing. America's at war. We're at war. Been in war for 10, 11 years. You would not know it by tonight, would you? Here we are being able to come and talk like this. But let's say we're standing here and bang, somebody gets an email and Russia has invaded America. And we've got to fight Russia. And tomorrow morning, we've got to put 500,000 troops in Russia. All right? There's two words we have to understand to hunt the rut. One is the word rut. The word rut, and the other one is the word estrus. Now, so in order to hunt the rut, you need to know when it is. So if we're going to bomb Russia, and tomorrow morning we're going to put 500,000 American troops into Russia, it's kind of important, isn't it, for us to geographically know where Russia is. We don't want to accidentally put 500,000 troops, say, in China. They may not like that, right? Now, if we're going to fight Russia, are we going to fight them at their strengths or the weaknesses? Common sense says the weaknesses. All right. In order to hunt the rut, we need to know when it is, where it is, and how it is. Does that make sense? All right. To begin with, the rut is broken into three periods. You got this wall, the 10, is pre-rut. This is the peak of the rut. And then that wall is post-rut. You got pre, peak, post. That's anywhere in North America, okay? But we're talking about Alabama. But it's anywhere in America. You got a pre, a peak, and a post. Very important. And to know when the rut is, if I were to say tonight, when you see a buck chasing, no, don't let me say that. When I say the word rut, what's the first thing you picture a buck doing? Anybody? Chasing what? Chasing does. Right? Buck chasing a doe. Everybody look at me. That is not the rut. Anytime a white-tailed buck, see those bucks over there? Anytime that buck sheds his velvet, biologically, that buck is in rut and he can breed. Anytime a white-tailed buck sheds his velvet, biologically, that buck is in rut and he can breed. Season comes in here when? October 15th? 25th? Are the majority of the bucks in or out of velvet? Let me ask that again and say it again. What are the majority of the bucks in or out of velvet? They're out. Isn't that amazing? Wait a minute. If they're out of velvet, they're in what?
According to you, they're in rut.
Thank you. Now, and I want you to hang tight on that according to me, so watch this. They're in rut. Biologically, that buck can breed. I didn't say there was a doe in. I'm saying biologically, that buck is coming to rut. Now, wait a minute. If he's out of velvet and he can breed, in other words, he's in rut, how long is he in rut? Common sense says, well, if he is, well, how long is he? Did you know that a white-tailed deer anywhere in North America, there's no difference in a whitetail in South Alabama than in Manitoba, Canada. A whitetail is a whitetail. Ears, eyes, nose, the only difference is topography, how you sit up on him, and pressure. Does that make sense? Still a whitetail, so watch. How long is he in rut? Did you know that a buck, from the time he sheds velvet, he is in rut all the way to the time he drops his horns, or antlers? We call them what? Down antlers. All the way to the time he drops his antlers. By the way, what's the last legal day you can hunt Alabama?
February 10th.
February 10th. They still got horns?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Guess what? He's still in what?
Rut.
Ooh, mercy. When is the rut in Alabama? When?
Anywhere from October.
The entire hunting season. If you think this is a rut, you're missing 2/3 of the hunting season using rut tactics. Now watch this. Let's go to the word estrus. We're sitting here like this, and they open the door, and all of a sudden a buck chases a doe through there, and man, everywhere she goes, he goes. You say, Don, look at that doe. That doe's in what?
Heat.
Heat, or estrus, right? Everybody? How many of you ever seen a buck chase a doe? She is not in estrus. I know you're thinking, man, boy, look back there and say, you need to not bring this guy back up here. He's done told us a buck's in rut when he sheds velvet. He is. He's in rut till he can biologically breed to the time he drops antlers, which means it's the entire hunting season. When you see a buck chase a doe, that doe is not in estrus. The word estrus literally means an animal will stand and not run. Dog, cat, elephant, giraffe, deer. How many of you have ever seen a buck chase a doe? Live TV video. Why do you think that doe's running? She ain't ready. There's a distinction between coming in and being in. The word estrus means an animal will stand. The peak of the rut is when the majority of the does are standing and not running on your piece of property. And believe it or not, there is a time in which on your piece of property where you hunt that the majority of the does are standing and not running. Okay? So we kind of all get on the same page in understanding these two words, and then we're going to go all the way through the season. Who in here is over 6 foot tall? I just knew you would be. How tall? 6'2"? 6'1". What's your first name? Mark. Mark, stand up just a second. You're going to get to be our dominant buck. Hey, guys, don't laugh. We ain't picked the doe yet. You wiped your grin right off, did it? All right, Mark, I hope you got a sense of humor because it's going to get bad. All right, you can sit down right there. It will. All right. If you think that this is the rut, you're missing 2/3 of the season. If you don't believe that, not that anybody in this room has ever said this, but you've heard people say, you know, last year the weather had the rut all screwed up. Rut came in late. Hunting season opened up late last year. They're talking about this. 85% of all scent sold in America, deer scent, is in a 3 to 4 week window. There sits a phenomenal dealer sitting here, and there sits the distributor right there beside him. 85% of all scent sold in a 3 to 4 week window. You know why? And guess what scent they use? What scent do hunters use? Estrus. All right. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to shoot this buck here in a little bit, and we're going to show you why a deer does what he does. Now, first, what church?
Calvert.
Calvary.
Calvert.
Calvert. Calvert Baptist Church right here. Growing up in Sunday school, really we're in the Bible Belt. As a child, we'd growing up, and one Sunday morning we'd be in New Testament, and next Sunday morning we'd be in Old Testament. Knew, and I used to think as a child, gee, stay in one of these books and teach me this story chronologically where I can remember it. That's what we're going to do tonight. Right now, today, bucks are running in bachelor groups. They're in groups. How many have already seen bucks run together this year? All right, let's have a contest. Who saw more than 3? How many? 5. 4. Okay, so you see the hands going up. That's not unique to here. That's happening all over America. But watch this. The bucks that you're seeing, like right now we're doing these seminars. You're already getting ready to hang tree stands, cutting lanes, thinking about, turning bush hog and getting ready to plant, right? Because season's coming up. So you're in the woods and you see these 5 bucks run together and you get all excited and you come back to work the next day and you say, hey Jim, man, the weekend I saw 4 bucks running together. They're bunching up. They're getting ready, man, getting ready for season. The bucks that you're seeing run together today have been running together since January, February. The pecking order of a white-tailed deer does not start in season. Got out of your frame, didn't it? Does it start in season? It starts when season ended. So last year, the middle of February, when season ended, we started thinking about turkey hunting or fishing or whatever we're going to do. These bucks started getting together in bachelor groups. So here's the way it happened. There's our dominant buck. Never sit in the front row, dude. 1, 2, 3. You were, ain't you? 4. We're going to have 4 young bucks. You're going to be teenagers. All right? Subordinate bucks. If you're not, take it up with the big dog after the seminar. But for right now, you're going to be subordinate bucks. Here's the way it happened. All around where you're hunting this year. When season ended last year, these 4 young bucks here come up to that dominant buck back there, and his first name again is Mark. Said, Mr. Mark, said, you got a job? No, man, I ain't got no job, And these young bucks says, well, we ain't got no job either. Say, well, you want to go down there in Centinela and we'll get us an apartment together and we'll bachelor up. So bucks started bacheloring up together when season ended. So all spring while you're turkey hunting and fishing and playing baseball and doing whatever you're doing, these bucks, young bucks, is learning about life at the foot of that dominant buck, the older buck. Just like these young boys and we did at the foot of our fathers and grandfathers and uncles and neighbors, right? By the way, America's needing badly. You hear me? So what happens is, now, Mark, you're doing a pretty good job. So all spring, Mark's teaching them about life. Yes, sir. No, sir. And by the way, that is a Southern phenomenon. And the people listening on this camera knows that. It is a Southern phenomenon on yes, sir, no, sir. Right, guys? And it's just called respect. So these young bucks are running around, and they're learning about life. Now, Mark, you're doing a pretty good job. Now, notice what happens. Spring transitions into summer. High school lets out. College lets out. And these young boys right here, son, they start partying. And I mean, son, they're painting the town. Oh, Big Dog here says, look, girls, you going to party, I'll show you the way the big dog does it. So the big dog, he shows the young teenagers how to party. Now, doing a good job all summer. Watch this. September, late September, first part of October, these boys come in, and that big dog right there, he's getting ready to come out of velvet. When do they come out of velvet? Oh, okay. Back over here at the beginning of the pre-rut. You wonder why we have season when we do? Watch this. He's getting ready to come out of velvet, and they come home and they say, Big Mark, get dressed, dog. We're going to Mobile. Mobile College is going to have a shindig, and we're going to paint Mobile. So the big dog here, he looks at him. He's getting ready to come out of velvet. He reaches in his pocket. He grabs the keys. He throws it down. He says, girls, I'm out of here. I'm tired of the loud music, the partying, the running around. I've had a gut full of it. The first buck, as a general rule, that will leave the bachelor groups every year will tend to be your most dominant buck. Now watch. He's coming out of velvet. Am I still in the frame? He's coming out of velvet. And now, what is velvet? How many of you play baseball, softball? You slide into that second base, You get that little strawberry burn, it gets gooey and sticky, and then it gets heals, starts healing, and when that scab gets on it and it starts healing, it starts cracking, and it starts what? Bleeding and itching. And what do? You're picking at it. How many of you see your mama said, boy, if you don't quit picking at that scab, it's going to leave a what? A scar. Why are you picking at it? Because it's itching. Velvet is nothing more than a scab. And when that blood supply starts coming out of that scab, he gets irritable. So he's getting tired of the foolishness of these kids. So what he does, over here at the beginning of the season, pre-rut, what this buck does, he leaves the bachelor groups and he's going to go build him a house. Now guys, follow this analogy. This is real important. Pre-rut, what this buck does, he leaves the bachelor groups and he's going to build him a house. The problem is, he don't have a roof over his head, right? He doesn't have a roof, so he's got to build him a house. First thing this buck's going to do, he's going to come up to a tree. He's going to come up to a tree like this, and he's going to take his antlers, and he's going to hook a tree. We call that a what? A rub. University of Georgia, they call it signposting, but they get big dollars for that. But we folks, we know it as what? A rub. He'll hook a tree. This is pre-rut. He hooks it. He's doing it for two reasons. He really is signposting, but he's doing it to take the velvet off. And once a buck starts, he's pretty much going to stay with it till he gets it. He may not do it on this one tree, but he may go on down. But notice what he does. He leaves the apartment. He's fixing to build him a house where he's going to live during the rut, which is when? The entire hunting season. First thing you do, you're going to come up, you're going to hook a tree, you're going to stand an 8-foot 2x4, you're going to frame it up. You're going to go down the ridge, you're going to come up to another 2x4, you're going to hook another tree, you're going to stand another 2x4 up, frame it up. You're going to go down the branch, cross up, and come up and do another one. You'll go all the way around a perimeter, making a rub line. How many of you in here has ever found a rub line and you get to looking at it and you can line it up like fence posts going down through the woods? Raise your hands. See it? All you have found is the 2x4 studded wall of that buck. If you take all this off, you could line the beams up. Right? Now, so the first thing he does, he builds him a house. Now watch. I get asked this a lot. How big is a house? It don't matter. Don't get hung up on how big the house is. Oh, no, no, no. If it ain't a big house, then he's a little buck. I want everybody to take, most of you know each other, I would bet. I don't know you at all, but I'd be willing to bet you that the size house you live in tonight don't make you a dominant buck not in this room. Am I right? So, but as a general rule, the bigger is more the topography, the lay of it, okay? And to a certain extent, ratio. But as a general rule, the size doesn't dictate the size of the deer. But notice, you're going to go down that rub line and you're going to hit this. This is called a rub line. The second thing this buck's going to do, Mark, pre-rut. And Mark, nobody else is listening. It's just you and me. Dog, it's you and me. Hear what I'm telling you? Old Mark is all dressed in his little prom suit. Got his little bow tie on. He's outside. And he's got the car and the motor revved up. That dude's ready to go to the prom. He's got a problem. There ain't no does even thinking about getting dressed to go to the prom because ain't no does in what? Estrus. So he's a little frustrated. Dude, biologically, but they ain't no... So he's frustrated. Pre-rut, he's out of velvet, he's building a house simultaneously pre-rut. You're going to go along, he's going to take his front feet and he's going to paw at the ground. Little secondary scrape like this. University of Georgia calls it a secondary scrape. How many turkey hunters we got? You'll swear it's where a turkey scratched. Oh, Mark, you may go you may hit it 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15. You may have 15, 20 of these things around this perimeter. University of Georgia calls it a secondary scrape. Pre-rut, secondary scrape. I call it a frustration scrape. Dude, he's in his tux. He's in a car. He's ready. Ain't no does going to the prom. He's a little frustrated. So what he does, can't you see him? Literally. He's going along, dead blame it. And as a general rule, very important, pre-rut, as a general rule, he does not mark this scrape. He'll take his front feet, he'll paw at the ground, can't you see him? Dead blame it, he'll hit it and he'll leave. Dead blame it, he'll hit it and he'll leave. He's frustrated. He'll hit it and he'll leave. He'll go all the way around the perimeter. He may have 10, 15 of these things around. You two guys hunt together? Well, you do tonight. What's your first name? Did I tell you we were live? What's your first name?
Steve. Mike.
Steve and Mike. Best friends, been knowing each other since they were this high. Steve, Mike. So old Steve, you know, it's a week before hunting season right here in Alabama, right here around Central now, and old Steve and Mike, they're going to go to the woods and cut a little firewood. May get cold later. So old Steve, he starts cutting wood, and the humidity out there, he breaks a sweat. And you know Steve, he said, man, I don't want to cut wood, you know, breaking a sweat. Let's go do some scouting. Now he's out, that man right there, his best friend. 1 week before season opens in Alabama, on your piece of property, that man. He's walking down through the woods, he's just glad he ain't cutting wood. He's walking down there and he looks and he sees a rub. Steve's thinking to himself, that can't be a rub, because it's not the what? And he's going, oh man, that's last year. He gets to walk and he thinks about it and he looks back, and from this angle he sees another one. He gets to looking and there's that fence road going down there. How many said you've seen that? He's thinking to himself, my Lord, I got a screwed up buck. I got a buck thinks it's a rut. Now, Mr. Steve, you the big hunter now, he's slipping down through the woods because he got a screwed up buck. He's slipping down through the woods and he steps right in the middle of one of them little secondary scrapes. That man right there, he's thinking to himself, now that may be a rub line, but I know dang well it ain't no scrape, because it's not the what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Man, this guy is pumped up. He comes back to lunch. His best friend right there has got him a potty meat sandwich made. Would you believe last week in New York they knew what a potty meat sandwich was? A potty meat was? I couldn't believe it. Oh, probably somebody from Alabama moved up there. But it's good. It's just everything else that's left in it. So he's got him a potty meat sandwich made. His best friend since this high. She says, Steve, you see anything? He looks at his best friend, drops his head, says, man, I ain't seen nothing. How many of you has ever scouted pre-rut, saw all that activity, those rubs and them little secondary scrapes, got all excited, you wouldn't tell your mama what you saw? Why? Because opening day of bow season, what you gonna do? How many of you sit there all day, all week and ain't never seen nothing? The rest of you lying. Why? Why is it that you see all of this sign during pre-rut and not see a buck? Because you're sitting up on it as though he's coming back, and remember, pre-rut, he's frustrated, and as a general rule, he's not marking it. And if he doesn't mark it, there's no reason to check it. We as hunters, we don't distinguish the difference between a secondary frustration scrape pre-rut versus a primary scrape during the peak of the rut. Now notice what happens. Big Mark, just before the peak of the rut, this buck's neck's going to start swelling. And when his neck starts swelling, what he's going to do, he's going to go along this perimeter of his house, and he's going to open up one of these frustration scrapes, or he'll come to a hole new along the wall and open up another one. The University of Georgia calls this one a primary scrape. It is always underneath what? Always underneath the overhanging limb. They call it a primary scrape. I call it a master bedroom, and you're going to see why. So what he does, he comes along the wall here, and he builds him, he's going to designate a master bedroom within this house. Okay? It is always underneath an overhanging limb. Look, guys, it's not hard to figure out if it is. All you got to do is stick your head downwind and smell. And if he's working it, you're going to smell it. If you're not sure, get you a limb, completely cover it up with leaves. I mean, hide it. How many bass fishermen we got in here? You throw something in a bass bed, what's he going to do? He's going to take it out. I assure you, if that buck's working that primary scrape, he's going to open it up. Okay? So, all you got to do is underneath the overhanging limb, smell, or cover it up. But watch what happens. Big buck, he's going to come along, and he's going to open up one of these rooms, these secondary frustration scrapes, underneath an overhanging limb as a master bedroom. All right? You ever wonder why we call it the master bedroom? I mean, really, have you ever just thought, wait a minute, why don't we call that the pee-wee bedroom? Why does we as humans call that room versus that room, that's the master bedroom? Have you ever thought about it? It's where it is a reverence. It's innate in human beings, created in us. It is where the master lives, and that doesn't mean dominant, that means die on behalf of a brother, right? So what happens is, he designates his master bedroom. Now when he does this, he's going to mark this scrape. Now, this is the one he's going to check. Mark, you want to show him how Buck marks a scrape? I did that at Bass Pro one time. I did that at Bass Pro one time, and it's true. That old boy was drunk. We never got him off that stage. He meant, buddy, we're pushing him off, man. He meant he was going to show him how Buck marked a scrape. So I actually had a guy the other day got up and wanted to show him. I said, man, I was just kidding. So this is the way a Buck marks a scrape. They ain't gonna hold me. Can everybody see? Here's the way a buck marks a scrape. The rutting odor of any buck in this room consists of three things. Anywhere in North America, when his neck is swollen, the rutting odor is when his neck is swollen, what Mark's going to do is he's going to urinate over his tarsal glands. Tarsal glands are located on the back inside leg of the deer. Do you guys call them tarsal or hocks? Tarsal. A tarsal's a tuft of hair, secretes a musk. It's called rub urination. And a buck primarily only does it in the fall. A doe does it 365 days a year. Within the first 30 minutes from the time a doe gets up, she rub urinates. Sort of like a southern lady putting on makeup to go to Walmart. You know what I mean? Puts on her identity. Now, I don't mean that in any disrespect, but it is very much an identity thing with a doe. And if she comes in contact with another doe, she's going to rub urinate in the presence of that other doe to show status. A buck only does it primarily in the fall. All right? Neck swollen. This is going to be his master bedroom. Here's how he marks it. Neck swollen, he's going to urinate over the tarsals, back inside leg of the deer, and then he's going to rub his legs together like this. Son, get you an education. You hear me? Tough way to make a living. He urinates over his tarsal glands. As he's urinating, he rubs his tarsals together. The urine mixes with the muss onto the scrape. How many of you have ever seen a buck do that to a scrape? This year you kill you a buck, spread the hoof, you ain't even got to do it hard. Get you a knife, just kind of rake in there, you ain't even got to cut. Just kind of rake down, you're going to get a waxy type substance. It's called an interdigital gland. The interdigital is your fingerprint. So what this buck's done, he has now designated a master bedroom. The University of Georgia calls it a no tolerance zone. He does it for two simple reasons. First reason is to tell every doe in Central, baby, come see me. I'm just saying, Mark. Come see me. Second reason is to tell every buck in this room, you keep your butt out of here. Did you know that during pre-rut, that buck would allow you bucks to come into the den and watch Monday Night Football? He'll let you go to the refrigerator and get something to drink. During the peak of the rut, don't bring your butt down that hall. You say, oh, Don, you just exaggerating. Really? Let's say, I don't care if it was your daddy, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, your best friend, your neighbor. They buy a new house. They invite you over. They show you the den, the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, not a stick of furniture. And they invite you down the hall. How many of you adults sitting here, once you step foot in that master bedroom, you feel a little uneasy? Not a stick of furniture in it. The reason is we as humans place a reverence on that. We demand that reverence. That buck is now designated that spot. That's the one he's going to check. Does this make sense? Now in just a second we're going to shoot this buck in this scrape. Here's the way you do it. The buck, if the wind's going this way, which way's downwind? That way. Alright. Old Mark, he's over there. If Mark's going to check his scrape, which way is he going to check his scrape? Downwind. Now what's he wanting to go downwind for? Well, he's wanting to check. Remember, two reasons: to say the bucks to come out and the girls to come in. Now, if a doe comes downwind and she likes what she smells, and what would possess her to, man, I don't know, because it's bad. If she likes what she smells, you know what she's going to do? She's going to come in and urinate in that master bedroom and or put droppings in it. Don't believe it? How many found droppings in a scrape before? See the hands? That's her calling card. She throws it in there, she goes off and beds or browses. Buck goes downwind, smells the receptive doe, comes up, trails her up and breeds her. It's the way the good Lord designed that. Does that make sense? Master bedroom. Here's the deal. First cool morning, you wake up and go to work and that cold air hits you in the face and you think, ooh, where do you want to be? You want to be in the woods. That old buck right there, he's bedded up on one of them ridges right out there, and that cool autumn air is hitting him, and he's thinking, man, if it ever gets daylight, dog it, I can feel it in my bones. You know, he's thinking, boy, and that big buck right there, he's got his little pedals, and he's pitching and skipping. He's happy, man. He's going downwind, because he knows this morning he's going to smell him a receptive doe. He goes downwind. Here's the way you kill that buck. How many of you in here have ever used scent, deer urine, scent? How many of you have ever wondered how they collect deer urine? Well, I'm going to tell you. Oh, by the way, my name's Don Bale, and we've been in the hunting industry over 30 years. And how many of you ever heard of Tink 69? I bottled that for years. I have bottled millions and millions of bottles of deer lure. My daughter still hates me to say that. How many of you ever heard of Code Blue? I started Code Blue. We know something about deer urine. We got coffee, we got Cokes, we got water. We don't want anybody to hide. We got 2 55-gallon drums by the door. We got one on one side for the women and one on for the guys. And we collect. By the way the industry does, it collect from all the men at one time and all the women at one time. So what you have in a 55-gallon drum, now I ain't talking theory here, I'm telling you the way it is. A 55-gallon drum of urine will bottle 7,040 one-ounce bottles. What you don't know is when I bottle Tinks, I batch 10 drums a day. That's 70,000 bottles a day. And if you open them up and smell them and looked at them, everyone smells and looks what? Why? Because it's a blend of this many people. So I stepped away from Tinks to introduce Code Blue, change the scent industry. Code Blue is one deer, one bottle. So what we did is when I did that, I collected from one buck, one bottle, different buck, different bottle, different buck, different bottle, one doe, different bottle. Every bottle's from a different deer. You say, well, Don, that don't make any difference. Really? I'm a buck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I come into you. Pick a lure. First of all, there's 86 scent companies in America. 86. That's how many was at the ATA show last year in January. 86. 84 of them does it by collecting blended urine. There's only 2 that don't. Code Blue and Top Secret. I'm a buck. Let's just say Tinks, but if it's not Code Blue with Top Secret, it's a blend. I'm a buck. I come into Steve, and it was an S. That was close. I'm tickled with that, man. Don't. So I'm coming in. He stands up to shoot me, and his stand squeaks, and I blow. I go 500 yards down the ridge to this man. He's hunting the same thing he's using. Guess what I'm going to do when I get to him? I'm going to blow. Guess what I'm going to do when I get to him and bless Shelby's heart, she don't even know him. All she knows is I'm blowing past her. That's the reason people who hunt in clubs together don't want to use the same scent that everybody else is using, because it's the same smell. It's a blend of this many people, this many deer. Watch this, code blue. I come into you, you stand up, stand squeaks, you blow, I can't help you, dude. You spook me. Boom! 500 yards down the ridge, I come to you and I calm down. Why?
Because it don't smell the same.
Different deer. Different deer, different deer, different deer. Does that make sense? If you were to go and open up a bottle of deer urine, what color is it?
Brown.
It's brown. And it smells like what?
Yeah. Okay.
Ammonia. 4 years ago, I stepped away and introduced another brand called Top Secret. It's patent pending in 4 different ways. What's the first thing you notice about that urine?
Yellow.
What? Did they pick that up on the mic? What color is it?
Yellow.
It's yellow. And no, that's not hot sauce. You won't make that mistake but once. $5 an ounce. Now watch this. Let's all go hunting. You got to open that to use it, right? Ooh. If I open it, that's bad, ain't it? Because what's going to happen? You're going to put oxygen in it. See that head space? There's no oxygen there. If you were to literally just crack it and close it, that's what's going to happen to it. In fact, I'll prove that to you. Hey, James, grab me one of those bottles that I got to replace. Just right there. It's just right there on the shelf right there. You can't make this junk up. Just before we started, they showed me 3 or 4 bottles right there that's changing color. And the reason for that is the cap didn't seat. There it is. We replaced that. That's what you're used to buying. This is what you ought to be buying. We don't make caps. The urine you buy from us ought to be yellow. All right, watch this. Let's go hunting. We're gonna shoot this buck. Let's go hunting. Everybody here will hunting tomorrow. You take this bottle. You take this bottle. You open it. This is called a scent saver system. This is a one-time purchase. This will last you for years. You open this bottle, 3 ounces. That's a 3-ounce bottle, and you pour it in there all at one time. Thank you, sir. All right. You pour it all in there. You put this plug in it. You plug it, and you just simply put it on and pump it out 2-3 times. There's no oxygen in that. Now, you've taken the air out. You cannot over pump it, because if you do, you'll hear it click. Listen. Hear that? Feel how hard that is. Feel how hard that is? Now listen. Now you don't want to do that because you'll sound like Lawrence Welk. You're going, who? Do you know who Lawrence Welk is? You ain't clueless, do you? You know who Lawrence Welk is? Yeah. Do you? We do, don't we? Yeah. Big band era. Look him up. It's amazing. So you don't want to do this in the woods. First of all, you're making noise. Here's what you do. Let's all go hunting. You pump it out 2 or 3 times. You're ready to go hunting. It'll sit there next week, next month. It can't go bad. There's no oxygen in it. You get ready to go hunting. This is what you do. You simply, there's a nipple on the top. You push it or pull it in any direction. And listen. Here it goes. You open it. You use it like you normally would. You plug it. You can start with no oxygen and use it all the way down and still be yellow. Isn't that amazing? You can protect your investment. All right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go hunting. We're going to kill this buck. The #1 scent sold in America is what? Estrus. Why? Right here. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. If you put a gun to my head and said you got 1 chance to kill a buck anywhere in North America, you know what scent I'm going to get? Buck urine. Buck urine. If you go hunting tomorrow morning, 352 days a year, if you pour buck urine out, any buck in this room is going to come to it. Why? They're in bachelor groups. Now, in pre-rut, opening day of bow season, you put buck urine out, any bucks coming to it, they're not coming to fight. They're just seeing who the new kid in the block is. Little bucks, big bucks. You don't care why he's there, do you? You just want to shoot him. All right? You remember when you in high school and you used to stand at the beginning of school lunch, you'd stand by the same pole, you know, your little group, and you talk to your little group. It's one morning, school's fixing to start, you look up, Big Mark there, he comes driving up in a red vet. Man, all the girls are looking, all the guys are looking. We're looking for two different reasons. The girls are oohing and eyeing. Us guys, we want to know if that sucker's in the band or if he's a linebacker. But none of you's going to run out there and knock him upside the head. We'll watch you on Fox News. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't do that. It's pre-rut. Any bucks coming to buck urine because they're in bachelor groups. See who the new kid is on the block. But notice, the closer it gets to the peak of the rut, buck urine is going to start good and it's going to get better all the way through season. It's going to start good and it's going to get better. When you start it here and you come along and you put it here in the master bedroom, that's like coming home smelling Old Spice cologne knowing you don't wear it. You hear what I'm telling you? Now, you say, well, Don, now you're exaggerating. Really. Tomorrow at lunch, I want any man in this room to go down. You guys, you sell cologne in here? There you go. There's you something else to buy, because that's surprising you ain't got it as much as you got. All right, go down to the drugstore and get you some. Go in and open up a bottle of Old Spice cologne. You're standing there in the drugstore tomorrow at lunch. Mark walks by. There ain't a man here going to turn around and knock him upside the head. It's 12 o'clock in the daytime at the drugstore. Mark walks by. Let you go home tomorrow night, 8 hours later after a football game, and turn your key and walk in your master bedroom, and the lights are out, and you flipping on and smell Old Spice cologne. Oh, now you've been out of shape. It ain't what you smell, it's when and where you smell it that makes the difference. Does that make sense? Guys, look, how many use a grunt call? Just this many? Get you a grunt call. We don't make them. They got plenty. Where's my grunt call? Helps to put your junk on. If you put a grunt call on, when you use a grunt, listen to this. When you grunt, 85, 90% of, probably even 95% of all grunts, I don't care what they make, who makes them, what they're made of, it is a tending grunt. It is a grunt that sounds, or a variation on, that's a buck tending a doe. So you get up in the tree and you grunt. What did I just tell Mark? I told him another buck is tending a doe. Who's doe?
Mark's doe.
That's a territorial infringement. Buck's got 3 defenses: ears, eyes, nose. What's the most important? You can whip this with this. You can whip this with this. You can whip that with a decoy. This keeps his butt alive. So you get on a tree and you grunt like a pig. Because they told you if you grunt like a pig, you see you'll buck. So you pay $20 for that piece of plastic and you up there grunting like a pig, and you ain't. How many of you ever grunted and ain't never seen a deer? Tell the truth. Look here. Now, that's the least you honest. Why? Think about it. Why? If you get up in a tree and you grunt, he hears it, he goes downwind. Why? Because he's wanting to smell what he's hearing. So you get up in a tree and you grunt, and the #1 scent sold in America is what? Estrus, or you don't use any scent because it's not. So you grunt, Mark goes downwind, you don't even see him. It's called flaming. How many of you have ever seen a buck curl the upper lip? Top palate of a buck, you'll see a little diamond-shaped hole. Sole purpose of that is to read urine. He can tell if she's in estrus or if he's in rut. So he's downwind. Horses, you got horses, you see a horse do that. Yeah, they'll flee him. So he's downwind. You may see him, you may not. The reason he's downwind is he's wanting to smell what he thinks he's hearing. And if you don't have buck urine out, this overrides this and you say it don't work. But Donna used estrus. Guys, that's like coming home after the football game tomorrow night, smell Old Spice cologne, flip the light on, and you see your wife. You ain't looking for your wife. Who you looking for?
Mark.
Oh. Interactive audience. That's right. Who you looking for? You looking for Old Spice. Guys, listen to me. Does this make sense? If you can tell, this ain't a high-tech seminar. And I'm not telling you something you don't already know. But what I am doing is I'm telling you chronologically. And we're going to shoot this buck in a second. You don't hit him at his strength, you hit him at his weaknesses. So when you grunt, he goes downwind. He's got to smell buck urine. You get up in the tree and you grunt. Rattle. What did I just tell Mark? 2 bucks are sparring or fighting. What are they fighting over? Who's doe?
Mark's.
What did he better smell? Buck urine. If you don't, this is going to override this, and you're going to think it don't work. Rattling and grunting only puts a deer downwind. It only puts him downwind. How many of you really and truly don't grunt, and you say, I just don't want to use a grunt call? Really. Guys, listen to me. Would you agree with me the only deer you'll ever kill is the deer you see? That old man in Fort Worth, he must have been 80. And he was hard of hearing because he talked real loud. And we sold grunt calls then, and I had everybody, James, I had them loaded up on grunt calls, dude. I had them loaded up on grunt calls. And these old boys were standing around there, and this old man looked like the Red Sea parted. And here's this old man right up to the table. And he was yelling because he was hard to hear. And I'm standing right here. Sonny boy, he said, I've hunted all my life. And he said, I've killed deer all my life. And he said, I ain't never had to sound like no pig. Dude, I got these people loaded up. Now this man's talking about don't need to sound like a pig. And I'm looking at this old man. Now, I'm from South Alabama. It's yes sir, no sir. I wanted to tell that man, dude, can't you see I'm doing my job right here? Don't. I got these people loaded up with a grunt call. I listened to him. He left. I'm looking at them like I'm looking at you. Don't let me get away with nothing. Would you agree with me? Let's say that man killed 200,000 deer. You can't kill 200,000 deer hunting in Alabama. That when you can kill a buck and 2 does a day. That's changed. Just telling you. You couldn't do that at poaching. That's illegal. You can't kill that many deer. But let's say that man did. Would you not want to hunt with him? He's hunting on a good piece of property. But would you agree with me the only deer that old man ever killed, the only deer you will ever kill is the deer you see? God help that old man. If he's killed 200,000, how many's walked past him that he's never seen? If he'd have just grunted, he'd have put him downwind. Grunt. Put buck urine with it. If you don't, he's just going to go right on about his business. There's no reason to just sit up in a tree. You got to grunt. All right? Now then, so here's what you do. Buck urine every day of the year, you come in and you put buck urine, trail it in, put buck urine in the scrape and estrus. Once you find a primary scrape, buck urine and estrus. By the way, can you roll me a bunch of these off and just tear them off like that right there? Because I'm going to need several of them. We also have this in foam. We're the only ones with foam. Oh, did I tell you the new Alabama state record was killed with this 3 years ago? Oh, I didn't tell you that? You heard about the new Alabama state record killed. Boy in Birmingham killed him, 197 3/8 typical. Killed him with that right there. 8 ounces, 1995 is how much we're going to knock you in the head with. 8 ounces. 300 pumps. Watch this. You want to know where your sin is? Oh, by the way, you see that? I'm not putting urine on me. I sell deer urine. I ain't stupid. That means sample. At least it better be. Watch. My reps and that little sucker right there. You got to watch them, man. You want to know where your sin is? There it is. 300 pumps. First time it sees oxygen is when you pump it. You say, what difference does that make? Are you good, man? You know, you just...
I follow directions. I'm married.
Oh, you stop now then. Dog, dude. I gotta watch you, though. All right. I'm telling you, son. I mean, he just listening and clipping. I ain't never had that happen. All right.
How many shows you done here now?
Watch this. If you take this, why is this important? If you take this right here, I got enough. I got about 50 right here. She was gonna help you. No, hey, you got some glue or tape or something we can help. Watch this, guys. This is a scent drag. How many ever use a scent drag? Don't let me get away with nothing. I don't know you. I'm gonna get out of the truck. I'm going to take me a scent drag and I'm going to put urine on it. And I'm going to trail it over here across the highway and I'm going to get up in that tree. Which way is it the stronger? Where I started? That's right. I'm a buck. I'm walking down one of them cold January days, drizzling rain. I mean, you're freezing your butt off. You see that buck hit that trail. You know what he's going to do? He's going to go to the truck and drink your coffee while you're freezing your butt off. Why? Look, guys, seriously, why? Fresher here. Watch this. Only Top Secret does this. No oxygen. First time it hits oxygen is when you pump it. I'm going to start there and go that way. First time it sees oxygen. 15, 20 yards, 15, 20 yards, 15, 20 yards, 15, 20 yards. This one is fresher than this is fresher than this is fresher than that, because this has hit oxygen last. Does that common sense make sense? Watch this, I'm a buck. I hit it, I'm going to me instead of the truck. Hear how quiet it gets? It's amazing, isn't it? That's what no oxygen does. It's a game changer. All right? So what you do, you get up and you grunt. You take your buck urine. If you grunt, I'm clean when I leave after one of these seminars. Watch this. You get up in the tree and you grunt. When you grunt, you're telling a buck's chasing a doe. Buck urine, estrus. Truck, buck urine, 15, 20 yards, estrus. Buck, estrus. What do I have? I got a buck chasing a doe. Isn't that what you just grunted? Which way are they going? That way. Oxygen free is a game changer. Why would we do 21,537 commercials? You think I know exactly how many? Yes, sir, we do. Because we know what we got. Folks, this is a game changer. Buck urine every day of the year. Once he starts chasing does, estrus. Does this make sense? Let me stop a second and give you a chance to ask some questions. And guys, listen. Anything you want to ask, maybe something we talked about, maybe something I hadn't talked about. You feel free to ask the question. When you ask it, I'll repeat it to where you ought to be able to hear it in this group, but I'll repeat the question for you. Okay? You guys feel free. Any kind of questions that you want, maybe something we talked about, maybe something we hadn't talked about. You guys feel free. Yes?
When you're talking about that, laying out the line to you, wouldn't it be better when you get to a point maybe to take a 90 off of it and sit beside it instead of...
He's asking that if you pull the trail in, I mean, you don't want to bring the trail right up to your tree. First of all, do not put urine on you. First of all, why would you? Have you ever gotten that truck and cranked up that heater? Where's that boot at? Where's that heat coming out at? First of all, if you put it on your foot, the boot on your foot, if you put it on your boot's on your foot, foot's in the tree. I'm a buck. The closer I come into you, the higher I'm smelling it. What am I doing?
Looking at it.
I wouldn't be looking up there, but you got it on your boot. Deer don't urinate this high up in a tree. They urinate on the ground. Listen, I bet there's hunters right here tonight. Don't raise your hands. How many of you put that scent and you hang it up in a tree? And the theory behind that is the higher it is, the what? They urinate on the ground 365 days a year. Do you think a dang coyote is going to tell the fawn, hey, here I am? We're predators. We just don't act like it anymore. Society has bred it out of us. And if that ain't the truth, brother, tomorrow I want you to notice how many hawks you see sitting on the power lines. Count them tomorrow, going to work and back from work. What God gave eagle eyes is sitting on a power line waiting on what? A roadkill. We're even changing nature. We're the head of the food chain. We just got to act like predators. And if you understand that deer, you can kill him. He's habitual. The only thing, he does the same thing every time. The pressure changes him, and then he's going to get right back to the same routine again. So, bring it into you, and you hunt. You don't want to hunt right on it. You hunt off of. If you're bow hunting, how many of you bow hunt? You know, you got to get him close enough to kill with bow hunting. If you're gun hunting, you can reach out there like AT&T. You know, someone else. You guys feel free. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Where does the licking branch come in?
A scrape is a buck comes in. Have you ever seen a rub? And this little basket buck walks up there, and you're going, what? There ain't no way that little spike or that little basket bucks did that rub. You ever seen that happen? Just because he does it, even if he's mouthing the branch in that scrape, doesn't mean it's his. If he urinates in it, it's either his or he thinks he's bad. Now, I want to show you something, Mark. I'm just telling you I don't. I'm just clarifying to you. If I knew Taekwondo, I know Tai Glock. Do you? Where's yours? Okay. Anyway, so if I know Taekwondo and he does it, guess who's going to win? Size doesn't always mean dominant. But if he urinates in it, it's either his scrape or he thinks he's bad enough to whip your butt. I've seen little basket bucks whip cow horn spikes, whip bucks like this because he could penetrate that rack. And he was just gritty enough to do it. You remember them little wormy guys at school, Sakaki and stuff? You know, most people were scared of him just because he'd run his mouth, you know. And bucks are like men. If men was like a buck, every telephone pole up and down a highway be tore up. But a lot alike. And here's the difference. Master bedroom. I've seen bucks, if I come up to you and I say, sir, you got a beautiful wife. You say, Don, thank you very much. I say, sir, you have a beautiful wife. Don, thank you. Sir, you have a beautiful wife, and I ain't no more got wife out and he wants to tear my head off. Have you ever seen a man like that? That's about right. Why is that? Some men, tolerance levels are less than others. A buck is the same way. Some bucks have more of a statue. Some bucks allow bucks to come closer to the master bedroom. I've seen them break and run across the road to get them. And then I've seen some look up and have these little basket bucks come in with the tails tucked, subordinate, like I'm not looking, you know, I'm coming through, okay?
He's got the hair on his back.
Yeah. He's showing, if I got to tell you I'm in charge, I'm not in charge. Does that make sense? I got to keep telling you, hey, I'm in charge. Hey, dude, can't you see? I mean, you're not in charge. So, buck urine, rattle, back to your question.
Licking branch.
The licking branch. So it doesn't.
What do they use that for? What I'm getting at.
It is a communication, but it is not the overriding communication. All research shows that the primary is the rub urination and that scrape. And it's to tell the does to come in and the bucks to stay out. He's in a different mindset then. Guys, listen to me. 30-something years, I've never had this happen, and I'm sure as heck bet, that's still running in it, I sure as heck bet I don't find it in Cincinnati, Alabama tonight. I've yet to find a man that if you have that unfortunate situation and you go home and you flip that light on, that you got enough wherewithal about you to go, gee, guys, this ain't nice. What do you say we go downstairs, put on a pot of coffee, and let's talk about it? No. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, my client is a fine, outstanding man. I have no idea. I've never met you. Fine, outstanding man. That my client right here teaches baseball. He teaches Sunday school in Calvary Baptist Church right there. My client right here had an unfortunate situation. He came home one night and he killed a man. My client pleads temporarily what? Our court system's full of that trash. When you have that unfortunate situation, you flip that light on, it's rage. Your best chance to kill that buck is when you flip that light on him. Where it is. Grunting. What'd you say? Well, to his point, how many of you have ever had a buck go nocturnal on you? Can't kill him. He's on the camera. He's tearing that scrape up. Man, you can't grunt him out. You can't rattle him out. You can't get him out. How do you do it? If he's nocturnal, he tends to be a good buck, an older buck. This will not work every time. It'll work a lot of times. Here's what you do. Very important. All of you hunt close enough to hunt to your property. So Wednesday, and I don't care what time of day you do this, guys. 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Makes no difference. You're going to kill Mark. What you do is you kill your human odor. Let's say you go to work at 8, so at 6 o'clock, I'd been saying 6 o'clock you're going to work. You kill your human odor, you go in this master bedroom, and you put buck urine in it. By the way, how much scent do you use? Watch this. I can tell you. James, how much scent do we want them to use? All of it. Do I hear an amen on that? Pour it all out. First of all, that's 3 ounces. Deer urinates more than 3 ounces. You ain't got to pour it all out. If you can smell it good, he can smell it great. Does that make sense? The hotter it is, the more you're going to have to use. The colder it is, the less you're going to have to use. Unfortunately, we live where you have to use more than normal, than the guy in Illinois would. All right, but that's just where we live. But here's the thing. You kill your human odor Wednesday, you go in, and for the first time, I put some buck urine in his face. Why? I got a good buck. He's nocturnal, which means I got a good deer. I'm going to fill his bedroom up with buck urine, Old Spice. I'm going to leave. That buck's going to come in that night, he's going to smell that Old Spice in there, and he's going to tear that bedroom up, and he's going to re-urinate in it until you get your butt out of here. Next morning, 6 o'clock, not 6:30, 6 o'clock. You come in, you kill your human odor, you come in and you fill his bedroom up with the same urine out of the same buck bottle. Go back to work. That buck's going to come in tomorrow night and he's going to think, I told his butt to get out of here. You crazy? He's going to tear it up. It's going to get bigger and deeper. Friday, right back in his face. Saturday morning, you kill your human odor, you trail the buck urine in, you put the buck urine in a scrape, you get up in the tree and you grunt. You say, well, Don, that won't work. We're all shift workers. We come home Wednesday night at 11:15, you smell Old Spice cologne so strong, just like you went out that bathroom window. Man, you have your two say about it. Man, you look at it. Thursday night, it's 11:15, just like you went out the window. Friday night, I mean, son, you tear your house apart. Saturday, how many of you going to check out and punch out early and come home early? Why? Because every night at 11:15, you can smell it so strong just like he left. But if you put it out at 6, and put it out at 12, and put it out at 9, Thursday night was that from last night? You don't know when he's there. By using top secret, each time you put it out, it's the first time it hits its oxygen, so it starts breaking down evenly. So the closer he gets to it to try to catch him, the fresher it is, which tells him he's doing what? Going in the right direction. Does that make sense?
You trained him.
His nose will kill him. His greatest defense will kill him. Oxygen free. Anyone else? You guys feel free. I'll repeat it real quick here, and we realize what time it is.
I'll make it with no oxygen in it.
How do we do it with no oxygen? How old are you?
12.
12. I ain't gonna tell you. Little man, it is patent pending in 4 different ways, and that means I ain't gonna tell you. That means I can't tell you. It means it's a secret, a big secret. Get it? Top secret. It is. Guys, listen to me. You tell me, does it make sense? It's not rocket scientists. Look, when I introduced Code Blue, it changed the industry. Common sense says one deer in a bottle is better than a bunch. We got one deer, no oxygen. It will change the way you hunt. You can not only hunt a deer, I can hunt that deer. If I understand its nature.
What happens when your wife comes home and she needs that wine stopper? And it looks just like yours.
Well, I wouldn't confuse the two.
We know better.
Well, she would too, real quick.
So
She will too.
In trouble.
And right behind that, you'll know the difference. Don't leave it in the kitchen.
That's right.
Somebody else, you guys feel free. Anyone else, you guys feel free. Guys, let me close with this. Seriously, does it make sense what we're talking about? You know what's amazing about this? I haven't told you a thing that you didn't already know. I haven't come with no high-tech way to kill a deer. I grew up in Atmore. My father had a 5th grade education. I've mounted 2 deer in my life, and they were culls because we were filming Buckmasters for my son. Mounted them over his bed this way. They weren't even big bucks. They just come in on the camera real pretty. You know why? Because Dad had a 5th grade education. We put them in the freezer. I still can 6 deer a year. 6 deer a year. I can 6 does every year. Have you ever how many canned deer? Oh Lord, you got to do that. Get with me. Can it. That's fine. It's like roast beef, man. Really, nobody cans deer? Dude, you need to get with me on that. You can hit it. Go to Google. Google it. You'll be canning deer. But anyway, here's what happens. And this is a question. What do? You're sitting in a green field, food plot, clear cut, your choice. You're rifle hunting. And I'm serious because we're closing. You're sitting there and you look up, and this buck, that new Alabama state record that boy killed, that's out of south of Birmingham, that killed him in southwest Alabama. You look up and that sucker steps out in the field. It's a Boone and Crockett. He steps out, he looks, he turns, and he steps back into the woods. You're thinking, my Lord, look at that. You got a rifle. Pick your distance. I don't care. 50 yards, 100, 200, I don't care the distance. Pick the distance. You're thinking, I'm fixing to shoot that sucker. He's fixing to step back out. So you do this. You bring that rifle up and you get right about here and you hear, whoo. Bad sound, ain't it? You're here. What do you do?
Stop.
What do you do?
Stop.
Stop. I don't have my phone. If I called my son, he's 31 now, it wouldn't make any difference. How old are you, son? 12. He's shooting the same 270 bolt Browning that he shot when he was 8, 9 years old. He was taught. I told this in New York the other night, and they looked at me, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, I'm in New York. They can't kill me. They can't do that. You know what I tell him to do? You come in here and you hear, whoosh, boom! I'm going to blow her head off. Now, you ought to see all these looks. What? I got a Boone and Crockett out there, 50, 100 yards. Try to get a grown adult to shoot that doe and that sucker standing out there, you can't see him 50, 75, 100 yards. Pick a distance. Why? You scared you're going to do it? You know what he's doing? Boom! Go back to eating. You let that sucker stand there and do this. Whew, whew. You know what he's going to do? He's going to Mobile. A buck will not run into danger. You may break and bolt. He may go from here to the wall, here to the door, and slam on brakes because it scared him. But he's got better sense than to run into it if he don't know where it come from. Does that make sense? A buck will forget about it in 5 minutes. He'll be right back out in the stupid field. A doe, you spook her, you'll get out. She'll look right at you in that tree.
Every time.
I'd rather spook a Boone and Crockett than I had a matured doe.
She'll come back in there looking for it.
All you got to do is kill her. If you don't kill her, she's going to tell everybody.
They take 20 minutes short-term memory on deer.
Yep.
20 minutes after 20 minutes ago,
except a doe. Does this make sense? All right. Guys, listen, we appreciate you coming tonight. Guys, look, they have product tonight in two things. There sits the distributor, there sits the dealer. And what was this in the January show you bought this? I think it was the January show. January. They got product. If he runs out of product, that's not his fault. He's going to yell at that guy. And then that guy, what does James do? Who do you yell at? You yell at me. It's not his fault, and it's not his fault. We're doing everything we can do to keep up. Rule of thumb, you like it, get it when you see it. This stuff that we think, oh, I'm going to get me some later, that doesn't always work. And I'm serious with that. And the way you learn that lesson is to wait. I mean, I'm serious. So they've got it available. Get you estrus, buck, doe, foam, or liquid, and get you a grunt call. All right. They have the product available right out here. I'm going to be right out there. The little piece of paper, bring that to me. This is a chance to win a 3-day Alabama deer hunt. It's in Wilcox County. But it'll be in the first 2 weeks in February. And we draw the Friday after, the week after Thanksgiving, we do the drawing. And it will be, you'll have 2 weekends to choose from. We did it one time and a guy won it and his boss wouldn't let him off from work. So we quit doing that. Now we give you a couple weeks to make a choice in. Any other questions? You guys feel free. Any last questions? Appreciate you coming. I'll be standing right over here. I'll be glad to answer any questions one-on-one with you. Bring me that piece of paper to where we can take that up, guys. Appreciate you coming. And let your friends know about it. And we have a show every Thursday night. You can go to topsecretdeerscent.com and hit on the link that says Hunt the Rut. Takes you right to it, live every Thursday night. Or you can hit it and watch all the shows previous. Appreciate you coming. Bring it right here. They've got product for it, and I'll be glad to answer any questions one-on-one. Appreciate it, guys. Oh. Yeah. Hey, show me that. Let me see that right there real quick.